Have you ever wondered if the gig economy is a realm of liberation or exploitation? This question is more pertinent than ever as more people are drawn into this burgeoning sector. The gig economy, characterized by short-term contracts or freelance work as opposed to permanent jobs, has seen a significant rise in recent years. One cannot deny the allure of flexible hours, the freedom to choose projects, and the prospect of being your own boss. It's a tantalizing vision of work-life balance and independence. But there's another side to this coin. The absence of job security, the lack of benefits such as health insurance, and the constant pressure to find the next gig can be daunting. So, is this new world of work a platform for self-determination and autonomy, or a breeding ground for uncertainty and exploitation? There is no one-size-fits-all answer. Let's delve into a real-world example to illustrate the challenges faced by gig workers. Meet John, a ride-sharing driver, living the gig life. In the hustle and bustle of the city, John navigates the streets, ferrying passengers from point A to point B. He's a part of the gig economy, a labor market characterized by the prevalence of short-term contracts or freelance work. John enjoys the freedom that his job offers. No fixed hours, no boss breathing down his neck. He can choose when to work and when to take a break. But this freedom comes at a price. There's no steady paycheck at the end of the month. His earnings depend on how many rides he completes each day. On some days, he makes a decent amount, but on others, he struggles to meet his daily target. And then there's the lack of benefits. Unlike traditional employees, John doesn't have a safety net. No health insurance, no paid sick leave, no retirement plan. If he falls ill or his car breaks down, he bears the burden alone. Being his own boss is a double-edged sword. Sure, he has the flexibility to set his own schedule, but the pressure to make ends meet often means working long hours, sometimes late into the night. Job insecurity is another concern. The gig economy is unpredictable. There's no guarantee of work. One day he might be swamped with ride requests, and the next, he could be waiting for hours for a single booking. John's journey is a testament to the realities of the gig economy. On one hand, it offers the allure of flexibility and independence. On the other, it leaves workers exposed to financial instability and lack of protections. But John is not alone. His story is a common narrative among gig workers, navigating the balance between freedom and security in a rapidly changing labor market. John's story is not unique, but a common narrative among gig workers. How do labor laws protect or fail to protect workers like John? Let's take a deep dive into the current state of labor laws and how they apply, or more accurately, fail to apply to gig workers. Traditionally, labor laws have been designed to protect employees. They cover areas like minimum wage, overtime pay, and benefits like health insurance. But here's the catch. These laws, for the most part, do not extend to gig workers. Why? Because gig workers are often classified as independent contractors, not employees. This classification is a core issue in the gig economy. It's like having a safety net with holes so large that many workers simply fall right through. Independent contractors are seen as running their own businesses. Therefore, they are responsible for their own taxes, insurance, and retirement savings. This might sound like freedom on the surface, but it can often feel more like a free fall without a parachute. Now, you might be wondering, why aren't these gig workers simply classified as employees, thereby getting the protections they need? The answer lies in the business model of many gig economy companies. Classifying workers as independent contractors keeps costs low. It's a model that has allowed these companies to grow rapidly, but at what cost? The reality is, the current labor laws are lagging behind the rapidly evolving gig economy. They simply haven't been able to keep up. As a result, many gig workers find themselves working long hours without the basic protections that traditional employees enjoy. This gap in labor law protection is a glaring issue that leaves gig workers vulnerable. The lack of comprehensive labor laws for gig workers is a serious concern that needs attention. It's high time we reevaluate our labor laws to ensure they adequately protect all workers, not just those in traditional employment roles. After all, in an economy increasingly reliant on gig work, shouldn't our laws reflect that reality? So what's being done to secure the rights of gig workers? You may ask. Well, let's dive in. Across the globe, the fight for gig workers' rights is gaining momentum. From the bustling streets of New York to the busy lanes of London, gig workers are standing up and making their voices heard. They are demanding better pay, improved working conditions, and the recognition of their rights as workers. One of the key battlegrounds in this fight is the effort to unionize. Gig workers, often seen as independent contractors, have been traditionally excluded from forming unions. However, this is changing. In various parts of the world, gig workers are coming together, forming collectives, and bargaining for better working conditions. Take the case of ride-hailing drivers in the United States. Just a few years ago, they were considered mere app users. Today, they are banding together, fighting legal battles to be recognized as employees and demanding the right to form a union. These efforts are reshaping the gig economy landscape, one legal battle at a time. But it's not just about legal battles and unionizing. There's also a push for better policy. Lawmakers, labor activists, and even some companies are recognizing the need for change. They're proposing new laws and regulations to protect gig workers. For instance, there's a growing call for laws that guarantee gig workers a minimum wage, access to benefits, and protection against unfair dismissal. Even tech giants who once resisted such changes are beginning to acknowledge the need for reform. Some are even taking proactive steps, offering their gig workers benefits like health insurance, paid time off, and retirement plans. However, while these efforts are commendable, they're just the beginning. The fight for gig workers' rights is a complex one, fraught with challenges. It's a fight that requires the collective efforts of workers, companies, lawmakers, and society at large. These efforts show promise, but there's still a long way to go. The journey towards securing the rights of gig workers is far from over. But with continued effort and solidarity, a brighter future for gig workers is within reach. Where does the future of gig work stand amidst these challenges? This question hangs heavy in the air as we navigate the uncharted waters of the gig economy. In the future, we could see a myriad of scenarios play out. On one hand, we might witness the emergence of a new labor market, one where gig workers are recognized and protected under labor laws. This would mean a world where they have the assurance of minimum wage, workers' compensation, and the right to unionize. A world where they are not just independent contractors, but also independent workers with rights and protections. On the other hand, we could see the gig economy continue to expand unchecked, with more and more workers drawn into its web. With the appeal of flexibility and the lure of becoming one's own boss, the ranks of gig workers could swell. But without proper regulations, this could also mean a larger pool of workers vulnerable to exploitation. The key, therefore, lies in striking a balance between the flexibility that the gig economy offers and the security that traditional employment provides. This isn't a binary choice, but rather a spectrum of possibilities that we can explore. Perhaps we could see a future where gig work is not an all-or-nothing proposition, where gig workers can choose to work part-time or full-time with proportional rights and protections, where they have the freedom to pick and choose their gigs, but also the security of a safety net in case things go south. This future of gig work is not set in stone. It is a path that we are carving out bit by bit with every decision we make, every law we pass, and every stand we take. It's a future that we can shape, for better or for worse. And so, as we chart the course of this gig economy, let us remember that at the heart of it all are workers. Workers who are trying to make ends meet, workers who are striving for a better life, workers who deserve both freedom and security. The future of gig work hangs in the balance, with the scales tipping between freedom and exploitation. This conversation about gig workers' rights is far from over. It isn't just a discussion about labor laws. It's about human dignity, about ensuring a fair and just society where every worker, regardless of their job title or status, is treated with respect and afforded the protections they deserve. We encourage you to delve deeper into the complexities of the gig economy. Reflect on the stories of gig workers you've heard today. Ask yourself, how can we build a future where gig workers aren't just surviving, but thriving? This is not a solitary task. It requires a collective effort. Engage with your peers, discuss, debate, and spread awareness. Your perspective can add a unique dimension to this dialogue. To continue being part of this important conversation, subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. Remember, your voice matters in shaping the future of work.